Hi guys, it's Elisa at Moat Cottage, and today I'm going to be sprouting broccoli seeds. We all know you need to eat greens, and this is something that everybody can grow whether you've got a garden or not. And if you're in a situation where you couldn't grow greens or you couldn't get to the shops to get your greens, then this is a good option just to have as a backup plan. So even if you don't do it regularly, it's something that is good to know how to do and to have some seeds on hand so that if you need to do it, you can do it. And it's really easy. So this is what you do. I put in probably a tablespoon and a half of the broccoli seeds. And then we're just going to give them a rinse off with some clean water that has no chemicals in it. I'll put on some mesh. This is lint-free cheesecloth. You could also use a clean stocking and a rubber band just to hold that in place. Give that a swish around and then rinse that off. That just gets any residue off the seeds. So now we're going to rinse and soak the seeds for about 8 hours. That should be enough. Making a big mess there. So we'll let that sit for 8 hours and then we'll come back. It's been 8 hours and the seeds have swollen up nicely. And now we just rinse the water off. And we want to spread the seeds around the jar to give them some space, but we'll make sure that water's out first. Now spread the seeds out, and we're going to leave the mason jar in this bowl. That way any extra water can drain out. Usually I put this in the room where the heater is, but at this time of year we haven't got the heater on and it does get quite cool. So it might take a bit longer at this time of year, whereas in summer it would be quite quick. Winter it's actually quite quick because we have the heater on and it's artificial heating. Spring and autumn, when the heater's not on, it does take a little bit longer. So I'm going to pop it in this sunny spot here on the kitchen table, and what we'll do is we'll rinse and drain the seeds 2 to 3 times a day, depending what's happening. This can also be done with alfalfa seeds, which most people are familiar with. Also kale seeds is another good option. The broccoli seeds I like, they've got a little bit of kick to them, so they're a little bit spicier than the alfalfa, which is quite bland. So if you want to start out with alfalfa, that's probably a good option. Well, it's day 6 and they're finally ready. This is just removing some of those seed husks that are still left in there. They sort of float to the top, so if you sort of squish it around, the excess ones come up to the top and then they can overflow out. Not that it matters too much whether they're in there or not. Give that its last drain out. I'll let that drain for 5 minutes and then it will be ready to store. I recommend you have a really good look at your sprouts and smell them to make sure there's no mold at all in them, because sometimes when you're growing things like sprouts you can get mold. So just check that, make sure you don't have any mold, and then they're ready for storage. I store them in these glass containers with these airtight lids, and now we can just eat it whenever we want. I'll keep that in the refrigerator and they're ready for us to have. And now I just need to make another batch so that when these are finished, we'll have a new one ready to go. I hope I've inspired you to try growing sprouts. If I have, leave a comment below and tell me what you like to sprout if you have sprouted before and if you do sprout. Thanks for watching. See you next time.